In 1992, when the TurboGrafx became the Turbo Duo and NEC was replaced with Turbo Technologies, the goal was to restructure the image of the console. AirZonk was one of the initial games released during this transitional phase. Where Bonk had been the previous mascot, Zonk would now take his place. He was much hipper, more futuristic, and way cooler than his predecessor. I mean, come on, he's got sunglasses, for God's sakes. Zonk was used in many of the Turbo Duo ads as well as on the Duo box itself, so they were definitely not messing around. The good news about all of this hype? Zonk's first game is pretty darn great. Unlike Bonk's side-scrolling platform nature, AirZonk is side-scrolling shoot-'em-up. I've actually heard the game referred to as a cute-'em-up before. Yeah, that's very appropriate. This cute design gives the game a wonderful personality. There are also some Bonk's Adventure references, such as collecting smiley faces for points or the familiar pods that hold power-ups. Zonk's shooting mechanics are very similar to others in the same genre. You have a small little firing pistol and a backfire that automatically takes out enemies from behind. Zonk also has a special weapon that can be charged up and released. He can also drop down a huge missile for a giant screen-chewing explosion. Now, all of these are great, but I can describe in 3 words what makes AirZonk stand out above the rest. Power-ups, power-ups, power-ups. Power-ups. Oh, well, I guess it's 4 words. The game has a boatload of power-ups, available by collecting air bones scattered throughout the stage, and they're all a lot of fun, such as homing missiles, bear traps, boomerangs, and my personal favorite, the deck of cards that spreads across the entire screen. All of these are extremely powerful, and each also comes with its own special attack. Zonk can also become tiny, which makes him harder to hit and adds an extra shot to his firepower. But that's not all. Another awesome feature of this game is the ability to team up with various characters who, yes, are also wearing sunglasses. Very cool. Collecting the large smiley faces call forth a friend who aids you by constantly shooting missiles at enemies. At times, this character will also sacrifice him or herself by committing suicide on your behalf. Wow, now that's a true friend. The second time you collect a giant smiley face, you will merge, becoming invincible for a short time and adopting that character's special power, such as Moomoo's giant milk bombs, Rip's powerful bark, and Power Dump's flamethrower. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Bob's baseball move since it takes so long between pitches, but you can't win them all no matter how cool you are. At the beginning of the game, you can choose to let the computer randomly pick a character for you in each stage, which is the default setting, or you can select one of the 11 on your own. You can also go at it alone, but what's the fun in that? The graphics are extremely colorful, and the layers upon layers of multi-scrolling backgrounds are just fantastic. You'll notice some Bonk series references as well, with similar backgrounds and enemies. The bosses are all rather large, multi-layered, and, well, some are kind of strange. A giant pizza? Yep. The music and sounds are pretty good for a TurboChip. I've always been someone who believes if you're humming the tunes after playing the game, then they did a pretty good job with the music, and well, that happened here. Zonk has very responsive controls, and the firing never stops. At the beginning of each stage, you lose whatever power-up you had previously, but the balance doesn't seem to be too difficult, and eventually you'll get a new power-up anyway. There is a little slowdown, but nothing to hinder your enjoyment of the game. One thing AirZonk does suffer from is a bit of imbalance with the levels. The first 4 are very long, with a mini-boss halfway and an end boss at the end, but none of them are really a huge challenge. Stage 5, however, is absolutely crazy, as you not only have to fight through numerous stages, but you have to battle King Drool's crony number 1, crony number 2, all of the end bosses you fought previously, both cronies together, Drool in his hovercraft, and Drool in his final form. Man! While there are unlimited continues, if you die, the game sends you back to the beginning of the stage. The good news is that if you can get to Drool's final mode, the game will give you 9 lives to defeat him. You can also increase the game's difficulty by choosing sweet, spicy, or bitter from the configuration screen, which also alters the number of lives Zonk starts with. I loved AirZonk when it first came out, and I still love it today. It has such a unique personality and a fun overall structure. The only issues I have with it are balance problems with the final level and a rather short game length, but there is an addictive quality to it that I just can't explain. I think most of it revolves around the awesome power-ups and the unique characters. It's just plain addicting, and I just can't get enough of this game for some odd reason. So, Zonk's first adventure gets 4.5 turbo chips out of 5.